Good morning, beautiful person. Greetings from beautiful and sunny Winnipeg. Whoops, that was my back because I'm being stupid. But stupid in a good way, I hope. So, in Canada, this is the August long weekend, one of the most cherished holidays of the year in a country that has winter 7 months of the year. The August long weekend is very dear to people. And in Manitoba, 5 years ago, it was decided to name it after Terry Fox. If you have not heard of Terry Fox, he was a young man. Hi, Alana. You know who Terry Fox is. Terry Fox was a young man. He was actually born in Winnipeg and moved to Squamish, British Columbia as a child and grew up there. He was an athlete. He was a basketball player, even though he was not tall. Gives you a hint right there about what kind of person Terry Fox was. And then when he was, I believe, 19 years old, he had some pain in his knee. He had it looked at, and it turned out he had osteosarcoma, which is cancer of the bone, often near the knee. And it was 1977, I believe, 1976, 1977, something like that. Yeah, it would be 1977. They didn't have the kind of treatments we have now. And his right leg was amputated just above the knee. And he was fitted with a prosthetic. He threw himself into wheelchair basketball and won 3 championships. But yeah, and then as he was getting chemotherapy, he discovered that there wasn't at that time a huge amount of money being put into cancer research, and he learned that his chances of survival were already higher than those of people who had the same cancer a few years earlier, just because of research that had been done. So he decided that he was going to become a fundraiser for the Canadian Cancer Society. And being Terry Fox, he decided he was going to run across Canada with one leg. Well, one real leg, one artificial leg. And you have to realize that Canada is the second biggest country in the world. Only Russia is bigger. And he was going to run across it, not north to south, but across it. So it's a really long way. So he started off in the east. He dipped his artificial leg in the Atlantic Ocean in Halifax in 1980. Forget the exact date, but if you're on my mailing list, then in about 15 minutes you'll be getting an email which contains all that information. I don't have it off the top of my head, but I know it was in 1981, I think in April. And he started running, and he ran the equivalent of a marathon for something like 140 something days. Can you imagine every day running a marathon? I can't run one, at least not yet. Certainly not the way my back's feeling right now. Although it's getting better. And he had his issues. He had all the things. It started off, people didn't really know what was going on. By the time he got into Ontario, though, he was being greeted with brass bands and politicians and celebrities. And this guy who was the CEO of a hotel chain took him under his wing and really started helping him raise a lot of money. And he had to stop. So he didn't make it across Canada. He had to stop. It was called the Marathon of Hope, and he had to stop just west of Thunder Bay in Ontario. There's a big, beautiful monument there. Again, if you are on my mailing list, the picture today is of that monument in Thunder Bay, and just outside Thunder Bay. And he had to stop because his cancer was back. It had spread to his lungs. He went back home. He got treatment, including interferon, which was brand new at that time. But he passed away a month before his 23rd birthday. And the thing is that nowadays, I was reading this Wikipedia article about him, and nowadays the recovery rate from osteosarcoma, which at the time was like something like 15%, really low. It's now more like 70% or even higher for a young person like Terry was. So if he had lived now with the benefit of all the research and the money that was raised, he would probably still be with us. So why am I telling you about Terry Fox, aside from the fact that today is Terry Fox Day in Manitoba, which is why I brought him up, is that, his determination is legendary and so on, and there's all sorts of monuments to Terry Fox and schools named after him and streets, and the Terry Fox Foundation announced in January, when his plan was, at the time there were, like in 1980, there were 24 million Canadians, and he wanted to raise $1 for each Canadian, and he did succeed in that before he died. In January, the Terry Fox Foundation announced that in total they've raised over $800 million for cancer research under the name of Terry Fox, because the first annual Terry Fox run happened, he died I think in June, and the first run was in September, and we've basically been doing them ever since. So I think this year it might be virtual, but it's still happening because people really speaks to them, a story about Terry Fox. But here's the thing. Was Terry Fox some sort of superhuman being who could do things that nobody else could do? I titled this video, "Are You Like Terry Fox?" And chances are your answer, like my original answer, was, "Are you kidding me? I couldn't do what he did." I already told you, like, just the concept of running one marathon, let alone 143 or however many he ran before he had to stop. With an artificial leg. Can you imagine the rubbing on the stump? Oh my God, hurts just to think about it. And he did it. And so the question is he some sort of being from another planet? Or is it something that we can aspire to? Not, God willing, not to run across Canada with an artificial leg. I don't wish that on anybody. But, or to die before the age of 23, God forbid. But the point is that if you ask yourself what was different about Terry Fox as opposed to you and me, I think the answer would come something that my mentor Ray Higdon likes to hammer into our group, is vision. It's the concept of a vision. If you have something that you want to achieve which is bigger than yourself, then you're not going to let pain stop you. You're not going to let obstacles stop you. Hi, Evelyn. I just finished listening to The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. And it basically comes back to the same thing. By the way, if you're wondering what Ryan Holiday is about, I've decided that the proper description, I don't know if you would appreciate that, it would be Stoic philosophy for millennials. That's so awesome. It is awesome, actually. Hey, Evelyn. Thank you. Hi, Josh. So the point is, if there's something that matters to you that you want to achieve, and it doesn't matter whether it's to raise money for cancer research or to be on a high school basketball team if you're only 5 feet tall, which is what Terry Fox did before he lost his leg. He was already a super determined young man. And or to build a business, or to run and be super healthy. What I did today, my back is better, but it's not 100% better, but today was supposed to be one of my running days. So I took my app, and I'm currently supposed to be like in week 7. Like you might recall that I had to, dial it back because of the plantar fasciitis, which is pretty much gone now. But I dialed it all the way back to week 1, day 1. 90 seconds of running, 90 seconds of walking, something like that. And you know what? I did it, and I'm good. A little sore. But I am getting better. It is going away, and I'm not going to let it stop me. I'm just going to dial back what I need to do, but I'll do it. So I'm not really comparing myself to Terry Fox, but oh, hi, Carolyn. Now there's somebody who we could compare to Terry Fox. But the point that I'm making is that if you have a vision, if you have something that you want to achieve, then you're going to surprise yourself with what you are able to do. And that was my main message for today. So if you like this sort of mindset thing, then as I mentioned, I have a mailing list, sends out one email a day at 9:30 Monday morning. So if you're on it, you'll be receiving it in about 5 minutes. And not surprisingly, this week's is about Terry Fox. And if you would like to be on it, then just drop me a message. I'll add you. And yeah, have a great day. Remember, I love you. Talk to you again soon. Drop me a message if you want to get this one email a week with mindset stuff. Talk to you again soon.